It's been a while since I've done a full Capture One edit, so I decided today I'm going to put together a very short tutorial on how I edit this photograph, which I took recently on a Nisi outing. If you're in the KwaZulu-Natal area in South Africa, so obviously you've got to be in South Africa, it's a free to join grouping that I put together, so we basically head out from time to time and we take some photographs, and it's basically usually using filters and such. At any rate, I took this photograph on Montessil this last weekend, and it's a complicated photograph to process because of the light that there was. So the original image is a stitch of 4 photographs pushed out on the telephoto lens, so it was handheld as well. The shutter speed was nice and fast. I didn't really need to worry about using a tripod and trying to get everything absolutely lined up. It was a grab shot. So before I even get started in the actual stitching of the photograph, I want to make sure that I have gone to my refine mode and I say remove dust. And all this does is it automatically goes through the file and it tries to find the obvious dust. Since I was shooting on an old Nikon Z7, there's a good chance it's going to have some dust bunnies inside there. Once I've done that, I'm going to copy that and then paste it to the other photographs in my stack. And once they are applied, I'm going to select all 4 photographs and I'm going to right click and say stitch to panorama. This is then going to bring up the usual stitching sort of application within Capture One. I'm going to select perspective. I'm going to let it do its thing. I'm very happy with what it ends up looking like. So I'm going to apply that and we're going to go straight into the develop section in Capture One itself. Now you can actually edit the photographs individually beforehand and do the same thing that I did with my dust, but at the moment I'm going to basically just edit the final photograph over here, which is this stitched panorama. Before I even get into the photograph itself, you've got to realize that editing is very much like tasting your coffee. Some people like it sweet, some people like it bitter, some people like it with milk, some people like it black. So editing is a personal preference. I'm going to edit this the way I perceived the image when I photographed it, and that's kind of the end result that I'm going to aim for. What I saw was certainly not this hazy mess that you see in front of you at the moment. So I'm going to go into notes, and that's shortcut key I, and let's just take a look at what I actually want to do to the photograph. So we are going to work on this area in particular. I need to see some nice contrast in this, and I also want to see some detail coming out. It also probably means that my blacks are going to get darker and my lights over here, definitely these lights here need to come out and be a little bit brighter with some detail inside there. We're also going to want to basically see this. Let me just change this here. We're also going to see this road so that it actually comes through more obviously inside the photograph. So we're going to start off by basically cropping the image simply because it helps me see the final photograph. We're going to hit the C button, shortcut key for the crop tool, and I'm going to right click and go into unconstrained. I don't want to use an original crop over here, and I'm just going to crop in some of the edges to basically what I would like in my final photograph. So we're going to bring that in a bit. There we go. And I'm probably going to just tilt it ever so slightly as well. There we go. We might actually end up including some of the sky over here, but we'll decide later on. Once I press enter, then my actual crop is in place. We'll start off by going through to our basic adjustment level over here, and I tend to start with leveling my images. So I'm going to take my white slider and I'm going to bring it down to where I believe my whites are going to be. There we go. And probably just tweak my blacks in just a touch. That's looking good. All right. We can also introduce some contrast into the photograph. I'm just going to bring in the contrast over here. And now already I'm starting to see that it is very bright on this side and I'm losing some of the detail on the right hand side inside my photograph. So we're going to start controlling that in a moment with our masks, but first let's just finish doing a basic photograph over here. I'm going to bring my warmth back just a touch and tweak color. There we go. And there we go. Right. And let's get the exposure just a touch brighter. Okay, so we can actually start seeing some crepuscular rays coming through. You're getting some more detail in the background over here, and the overall exposure is looking a little bit better. If I hit my Y button for before and after, you can see we're not quite as muddy as we were earlier on. Okay, so now let's just bring back some of that light in the top left-hand corner. So we're going to start off with our first mask. So all I need to do is go up to my gradient filter, shortcut key G, and we're just going to bring this down, make it really nice and soft. Okay, there we go. And we are then going to just bring that back a touch and bring our contrast out inside our highlights. And a little bit of saturation over there. And what I'm also going to do with my base layer, while I'm thinking about it, let's just go back to the original image and just bring up my shadows just a touch. There we go. Okay, that's looking better. So you can now start seeing some of the foreground is coming in over here. Now, what we want to do is get some more detail and contrast inside that foreground. So what I would like to do is create a new layer. It's going to be an empty layer at the moment. And I'm now going to grab my brush over here, and I'm going to just essentially create a mask over, and if you want to see where your mask is, hit M, over the trees and the foreground. So it's this area. I could probably get away with a, there we go, right. I could probably get away with a gradient filter as well if I wanted to. But now I want to refine that mask so that it's around the edges of the trees themselves. So what I will do instead is I'm going to go to Combine Masks, and we're going to intersect Luma Range with that brush mark that I've done. And we're essentially looking for our shadows. So I'm going to pull back on my highlights here quite far, and let's just bring that back over here. There we go. That's looking better. Nice. Right, so we're basically getting this edge area, and I'm probably going to paint out or in this little section, but we'll just say apply for the time being. And let's switch off our mask. Now what we're going to do is add some contrast into this image. So we're going to bring back our shadows, bring up our highlights a little bit. There we go, like so. And I want to bring some more shadow detail inside there. And I'm also going to use my clarity slider, and we're going to pull that out to the right quite far. And you can now start seeing some of the detail coming through in the forest itself. Let's just paint in this little section here as well. We can also see that we've had a bit of an issue on that, so I'm just going to brush in a bit. There we go. Right. That's nice. We're starting to see some detail coming through, and it's looking a lot better. What I now want to do is still get some more of this crunchiness coming through in this area here, in particular in terms of detail. So what I will do is grab another mask over here. We're going to take another mask, and we're going to grab a radial tool. Here we go. And we're just going to bring that in, make it nice and soft over here. And it's around the trees that we're working on at the moment. And what I'm going to do is head down to my clarity, I'm going to go down to my structure. And we're going to just bring in that detail there with a touch of clarity. There we go. Now you can start seeing some of this coming through in terms of the detail in the clouds themselves. If you want to see before and after, there you go. You can actually start seeing that coming through nicely. I still feel that we can do some more in this whole area. So let's grab another gradient tool. We're going to do a new mask, and I'm going to bring it up from the top, from the bottom, sorry, we're going to bring it up from the bottom, and we're just going to go straight into our curves and lift this a bit. Keep our shadows. There we go. We'll do a quick check before and after. Yeah, that's lifting it up nicely. And we want to also again use some more of the clarity just to bring that across. Cool. Right, we're now starting to see some of that detail coming through. Okay, I'm going to crop in a touch as well, and on the other side too. There. The sky itself needs a little bit more detail and brightness coming out through this area, potentially some warmth. So what I will add is yet another gradient tool. So add a plus over here, grab that across. I'm going to introduce some clarity and some contrast. And just bring some of my highlights back ever so slightly. So I'm using the shortcut keys at the moment to just speed up my edit a little bit. We still want to get a little bit more of this detail and these colors coming through wherever those little tones are and those greens. So what I'd like to do, and I see that they're all more or less the same color, so I can actually head down to my advanced tab in the color editor, and I'm going to pick my picker over here, and we're going to select that little tone, that color, just in that little area. To see what it's looking at, we make sure that we are clicked onto the view visible range, and you should see that a lot of the rest of the photograph is going to go black and white. We can actually concentrate on that color tone over here. There we go. And everything else goes black and white. That's exactly what I wanted. And what we're now going to do is click on the contextual menu over here, the three dots, and we're going to say create mask layer from the selection. We'll now see at the top is this little area here. Okay, so if I want to see what the mask is looking like, that's my mask. I don't actually want that area over here. That's a little bit bright. So what we might do is try and intersect this again with our Luma masks. We're going to Luma that one, and it's this tone that we're looking for. So we're going to try and get rid of those very bright tones. Yeah, because we don't actually want those. We are looking for those greens. Let's get rid of some of those darker tones as well, because again, it's the greens that we're looking for, not the... That's looking good. Right, and I'll say apply. And what we now want to do is we're trying to lift those up slightly. So we're going to just take our brightness, bring that in a little bit. There we go. Add some contrast inside there. And then finally a little bit of color. So we're going to go into saturation and we're going to bring the color in inside that. And there we go. Right. This is your... Let's just take a look at what that mask looks like before and after. I think we can probably tone it down on this side. So I'm just going to grab, without going in and adjusting that, I'm just going to grab my eraser tool, make sure that it's just ever so slight that I'm doing this, so opacity and flow are brought down, and we're just going to pass over this area here. You can see your mask in this. Essentially we're wanting to concentrate on those little green tones inside there. There we go. That's better. Maybe just to bring that back a touch. Right. That's good. So you can see from before and after, I've gone a huge way in adjusting this photograph. It's looking significantly better. I have noticed that there are a couple of little spots that I still have inside my photograph, so I'm just going to go in and clean those up. So shortcut key J, choose your selection point, and we're just going to paint those out. There we go. That looks better. Let's move across to another area. That one also needs to be painted. There's another one over here. This little guy over here. So it's basically the same spot on the sensor. Unfortunately, my attempt at the beginning didn't quite get rid of that. That was the goal, but it didn't do it. And here, while I'm zoomed in, you can actually see some of this wonderful detail coming through in the trees themselves. And there we go, right. I feel like it could do with a little bit more light on this side over here. So I'm just going to grab another brush over here, go into my radial tool. We're going to bring this in a touch and bring that around. And we're just going to open up some of the shadows in that area. There we go. Let's just open that up nicely. There. And add a touch more contrast. So there is my before and after. So I've managed to create an image that has gotten a whole bunch of that detail out of the photograph itself, and it's almost up to the point where I feel like this is looking good. I would like a little bit more darkness in this corner as well still, so we're just going to sort of dodge and burn. So I'm just going to add a last layer over here. I'm going to bring my exposure down on that layer itself. So let's just do that. And we're going to choose a brush, so shortcut key B, and make sure that there's very little opacity inside here, and we're just going to brush in that little corner over there. So essentially, and if I want to darken it, I'll just go over it again. There we go, that's better. So I'm just doing a little bit of dodging and burning in that little area there. That's better. If I would like to adjust my dodge and burn, obviously I can always take my opacity and I can bring it forward and back a touch, like so. And I can obviously also go in and I can work on the actual image by adding other additional masks to it. I wanted the overall photograph to basically punch in and see some of the detail, but still maintain that misty feel, that overall mist-like aura to the photograph itself. Before finishing up my photograph, I'm going to head back down to my base layer, image layer over here. We're going to zoom into where I know that there is some decent detail, and I'm just going to quickly adjust my photograph with its sharpening. So we're going to make sure that the halo suppression is pulled out a little bit over here. I can just get the sharpening up to a point where I feel that it's comfortable. So I usually bring my radius back a little bit. I might push the sharpening up a touch, but I do tend to be quite conservative with this one. More importantly, I feel is like bringing the threshold out so that it sharpens less of the photograph. Okay, and there we go. And if needs be, I can always play with my noise reduction, but usually I actually just leave that straight. What is important though is pull out your single pixels in case there are any hot pixels inside your photograph. Again, there's my before and my after. You can see there's been a massive change to the photograph from the time that we actually started working on it. So you do get a really nice feel for the actual overall that sense of the mist coming in, that slight mugginess to it. I was quite happy with the photograph. I could potentially spend some more time playing with it, but I think this is a good start to the photograph itself. Something else that I probably should have done as I went through, I quite like the new updates that they've done with Capture One at the moment, where essentially you can now see the mask inside it. And the other thing that I should have probably done when I started is actually name them. I've kind of gotten lazy in naming my layers ever since they created this little view where you can see the masks in place. But to rename them, you could have gone in and, for instance, said darken upper left sky. The mask above that was to bring out the detail in the hill itself. Detail in the hill, and so on and so forth. So you can rename your layers as you go. It does make life a lot easier. This road as well, it's actually come through just with the work that I've been doing. But again, I could go in and create another mask just to be able to select that road and bring it through. I hope you found this useful. If you've enjoyed this particular edit, let me know in the comments down below. If you think that I've overdone it in some way, please let me know. If you think that maybe I should have done something differently, again, let me know. As I said at the very beginning of this particular tutorial though, editing is an incredibly personal thing. So it does tend to be what you like out of your own photographs. I'm hoping that this has given you an idea of how I approach my photographs, as well as how I will use masks to be able to localize how I do my editing and bring out certain areas of the photograph in relation to other areas. Cool. Thanks very much again for watching, and I hope to see you again on another one pretty soon. Cheers.